A gigantic blood-red cloud has exploded in the depths of space, spanning thousands of miles of space. At its heart is a strange object, 3 Atlas, an interstellar traveler who has suddenly become far more strange than anyone had dreamed. For the first time, astronomers have seen something glowing ahead of such an object, towards the sun, and not behind it. When astronomers first pointed their telescopes at it, they anticipated the familiar image of a comet with its characteristic glowing tail. What they received instead was an otherworldly red specter, emitting gas at an incredible rate, but without all the traditional characteristics that make a comet a comet. This newly received photograph doesn't merely provide another piece of evidence for the enigma, it totally turns everything we've come to believe around. The new pictures of the interstellar object, formerly named 3 Atlas, are rather disturbing. Ditch the standard vision of a comet with a glistening tail and light-colored head, this one is nothing like that. Rather, the images show a huge blood-red coma, a massive cloud of dust and gas surrounding a nucleus that's barely perceptible within. And this is not a mere shade variation, it's a deep, foreboding crimson, a color so unusual and unnatural that astronomers have seldom observed anything close to it on this scale. The coma is gigantic, measuring more than 90,000 miles tip to tip, wide enough to encompass well over 10 Earths side by side within its radiating halo. But it's not just the color or size that's keeping scientists up at night, it's what this gigantic red cloud is actually composed of. Spectrographic analysis, which acts as a sort of chemical fingerprint for light, yielded results that nobody anticipated. The cloud is almost pure carbon dioxide, not the mix of water ice, dust, and frozen gases typically found in comets. Rather, it's pouring practically pure CO2 at a staggering rate, about 70 kilograms, or roughly 54 liters, each and every second. That's equivalent to an enormous smokestack continuously emitting gas into the emptiness of space. Normally, an object losing that amount of mass ought to be one of the brightest in the sky, with a stunning tail of millions of miles extending outward under the force of the solar wind. But 3 Atlas has no tail of any sort to be seen. It's as if viewing a fiery blaze that casts no smoke. This one detail alone turns the basic rules of cometary physics on their head. Comets generally sublimate, their frozen surfaces being converted directly into gas when illuminated by the sun, forming both coma and tail. But 3 Atlas appears to execute the initial phase of the process with astounding vitality and omits the second altogether. Its gas simply pops into existence, then floats suspended in that freezing scarlet haze. It's a cosmic illusion, an illusion of magic without a magician, and it's happening on a scale beyond understanding. To make matters stranger still, the core or nucleus of the object is an unresolved enigma. For years, its dim glow made scientists think it was quite small, maybe only a few miles in diameter. But new information from NASA's SPHEREX telescope indicates otherwise. The nucleus is actually up to 46 kilometers, 28 miles, wide. This is no ordinary space rock, it's more like a miniature world. A body so large, made up of frozen CO2 and other volatile molecules, should be radiating with light as it heads towards the sun. But 3 Atlas is still dark and shrouded, hidden in its own reddish mist. It's too big, too red, and too bizarre to be a regular comet. What scientists have now is a picture full of paradoxes, something that is both hyperactive and strangely passive, compelling them to re-examine what an interstellar visitor even can. Before it was a cosmic enigma, 3 Atlas was the focus of tremendous excitement. When it first emerged in telescopes, much farther away than Saturn's orbit, astronomers knew that it was already getting brighter even at that vast distance. Calculations were that it could become visible to the naked eye, possibly even outshining the brightest stars in the sky. The frenzy ran fast and wide, and it was celebrated as the possible comet of the century. But as it moved sunward, the universe had other ideas. Its original predictable brightening began to stumble. It would flash wildly, only to disappear as rapidly. Even its shape and color started changing, as if it couldn't make up its mind what type of object it wanted to be. To comet experts, such unpredictable behavior is a cause for alarm, proof of structural instability, indicating the object may not survive the heat and gravitational forces of the inner solar system. And sure enough, the worst appeared to come true. Rather than glowing into radiance, 3 Atlas disintegrated. Telescopes saw its one point of light shattering into several pieces, putting the dream of a heavenly spectacle to rest. As far as the general public was concerned, that was where the story ended. But for a few astronomers, it had just begun. The pieces did not act normally either. Rather than scattering and disappearing, they went on moving in a dense, ghostly group, each piece forming its own tiny red coma. The chronology of events grew muddy and suspect. The initial data and photos of this bizarre breakup were not made public right away. There was a strange delay in the publication, which raised eyebrows. In science, review and fact-checking of data are standard, but something about this one seemed off. Some scientists started wondering if the preliminary readings held something so unbelievable that they were at first mistaken for glitches. When the information finally came out, along with the now infamous photo of the red coma, everything shifted. This was not an ordinary comet that had disintegrated, it was a transitional object of unknown nature. A story of a potentially great event in the heavens had become one of the most mystifying cosmic enigmas of our current understanding of the cosmos. 3 Atlas had impersonated a comet, only to unveil, in its breakup, its real and confounding nature. To figure out what exactly it is, scientists set about tracing its origin, and the answers only became more baffling. What we do know is that it did not originate from our solar system. Its orbit is hyperbolic, i.e., it is not gravitationally bound to the Sun. Unlike comets like Halley's, which travel in wide ellipses and return after a while, 3 Atlas is a one-way traveler. It came into our solar system from the frigid depths of interstellar space and, following its wild and fleeting visit, will be flung back out into the darkness forevermore. That alone qualifies it as one of the rarest and most precious visitors ever found, a true ambassador from another star system, bearing within it secrets of the chemistry of a world we might never visit. It's just the third confirmed interstellar object humanity has ever seen, after 2017's cigar-like Oumuamua, whose mysterious acceleration is still unexplained, and 2I/Borisov, which resembled a more typical comet. 3 Atlas, though, doesn't fall into either of those niches. It exists in a category all to itself. Because it's an interstellar visitor, it has probably been floating for millions, perhaps hundreds of millions of years, through the icy space between the stars. Throughout that immense timeline, any unstable materials would long since have evaporated, leaving only a nucleus of stable chemicals such as rock and water ice behind. But not 3 Atlas. Its blanket carbon dioxide outgassing implies that it is from an extremely cold place, where CO2 would be able to remain frozen for millions of years. It's almost too pristine, as though preserved in a cosmic deep freeze, dormant until its entry into our solar system awakened it. Some theories propose it might be a fragment of a Pluto-like exoplanet, shattered long ago by a violent collision. That could explain both its size and its unique chemistry. Others contend it might just be a different sort of comet, one that was created in an unusually CO2-rich area of its home system. But even that explanation doesn't account for the lack of a tail and the giant nucleus. Then there's the more extreme possibility, maybe its weirdness has less to do with composition and more to do with structure. What if the nucleus isn't solid at all, but porous, a great cosmic sponge? Or, even more explosively, what if its disintegration wasn't natural, but mechanical in nature? Whatever the reality, 3 Atlas is an abiding enigma, a cosmic outsider that will not be bound by the laws of comets or planets. It's a specter from another age, holding secrets in a world that we can't reach or even picture. With each additional examination of its eerie red light and its impossible actions, one question remains in scientists' minds everywhere: is this truly merely a rock, or is something much stranger afoot?